Number 15, the phantom phone vibration. You're sitting at dinner with a friend, the conversation is flowing, and suddenly you feel a buzz in your pocket. It's your phone. Or is it? You discreetly pull it out, a quick glance under the table, and nothing. No notifications, no texts, no missed calls. Just the silent, glowing rectangle of disappointment. If this has happened to you, congratulations. Your brain has a phantom limb. A really small, annoying phantom limb. It's a sensory hallucination, a bug in your nervous system's operating code. The technical term for it is vibranxiety, and I'm not making that up. Okay, I made that up, but it sounds legitimate, right? The real deal is phantom vibration syndrome, a fascinating little quirk of our modern hyper-connected brains. It's not just a product of our digital dependence, though that's a big part of it. It's a mix of a few things. Your brain's anticipation, your nervous system's constant low-level noise, and the way our brains prioritize sensory input. Your brain is a world-class pattern recognition machine. When it's expecting a certain sensation, like the buzz of a text, it becomes hypervigilant. It starts mistaking random muscle twitches, the gentle friction of your pants, or even the subtle rumble of a passing truck for a phone notification. It's an evolutionary glitch, a misfire of the alarm system, a classic case of your brain shouting incoming when there's nothing but silence. Number 14, the echo chamber. Have you ever had a conversation, a good one, and then a few days later, you're replaying it in your head? Not just the words, but the whole damn thing. The tone, the facial expressions, the feeling of the moment. And for some reason, your brain decides to add a little something extra. A sarcastic inflection here, a subtle change of a word there. Suddenly, that casual conversation with a coworker about lunch plans has been rewritten in your memory as a tense, dramatic showdown. This is the echo chamber at work. Your brain is constantly editing your memories, not maliciously, just inefficiently. It's trying to make sense of the world, and sometimes to make the narrative cleaner or more dramatic, or maybe just to fill in the blanks, it rewrites the past. It's not a full-blown hallucination, more like a subtle retcon. And the science behind it? It's a mess. There are a dozen theories, all with fancy names, but no one really knows for sure why we do this. Maybe it's because our brains are storytellers, and a good story, even one based in reality, needs a little flourish. Or maybe, just maybe, our brains are so bored they're creating their own low-budget drama series starring us. Number 13, the misplaced hello. You walk into a grocery store, a coffee shop, or even just your own living room, and you swear you hear someone call your name. You stop. You turn around. You scan the room. Nothing. No one is there. You've just experienced a misplaced hello. It's a brief auditory hallucination, a little whisper from the void, and it's surprisingly common. It's the brain's pattern recognition at its most eager and, frankly, most embarrassing. Your brain is constantly processing a cacophony of sounds. The hum of the refrigerator, the distant rumble of traffic, the chitter-chatter of people. In its quest for meaning, it latches onto a random collection of sounds and mistakenly identifies it as a voice. It's like a phone autocorrecting a typo into a completely different word, but for your ears. And it's not just your name. It can be any word, any phrase, but the brain has a special predilection for your name. It's a sound you're conditioned to respond to, a sound that gets a high priority pass through your brain's filters. The real mystery, the thing science can't quite nail down, is why it happens so frequently and with such a high level of fidelity. It's not a symptom of anything. It's just a little brain fart, a whisper of a glitch in the machine. Number 12, the déjà vu anomaly. You walk into a new coffee shop, one you've never seen before, and a strange wave washes over you. You know this place. You know the way the light hits the floor, the exact position of that barista's tattoo, the low-level hum of the espresso machine. It's a feeling so visceral it's like a memory, but it can't be. This is déjà vu, French for already seen, and it's one of the most common and profoundly unsettling brain glitches we experience. It's a short circuit in your brain's wiring, a tiny hiccup in the memory retrieval process. One leading theory suggests it's a conflict between two neural pathways, the one that processes sensory input in real time and the one that stores short-term memory. It's like your brain is trying to file a brand new experience into an old folder, causing a momentary flicker of recognition where there shouldn't be one. Another theory posits it's a sort of micro-seizure, a tiny electrical misfire in the temporal lobe, the part of your brain responsible for memory and recognition. It's not dangerous, just an occasional stutter in the matrix of your mind. Basically, your brain is like a computer that briefly loses its mind and thinks it's already rendered this scene, even though it just started. Number 11, the sudden limb spasm. You're about to fall asleep. You're in that twilight zone between consciousness and dreams, and then, without warning, your leg or arm jerks violently. It's like a rogue puppeteer decided to pull a string on your sleeping body. This is a hypnic jerk, a sudden involuntary muscle contraction that occurs as you're drifting off. It's so common it's almost universal, and yet the exact science behind it is still a bit of a mystery. One popular theory, the falling hypothesis, suggests it's an ancient survival instinct. As your muscles relax in preparation for sleep, your brain misinterprets the sensation of muscle tone fading away as you falling. So, like a frantic little safety officer, it sends out a jolt to wake you up and save you from an imaginary plunge. Another theory points to the two brain systems that govern sleep: the reticular activating system, which keeps you awake, and the ventrolateral preoptic nucleus, which puts you to sleep. As one system starts to shut down and the other takes over, there can be a momentary clash, a brief neurological tug-of-war that manifests as a physical twitch. In short, your body is trying to gracefully shut down for the night, and your brain is basically kicking its legs and flailing its arms like a toddler in a tantrum. Number 10, the involuntary shiver. You're watching a movie, listening to a podcast, or maybe just sitting quietly and thinking. The room is warm. You are not cold. And yet, for a moment, an unexplained shiver runs through your body, raising goosebumps on your arms. This isn't your body trying to warm itself up. It's a psychogenic shiver, a physical reaction to a non-physical stimulus. Sometimes it's a feeling of profound sadness, a sudden pang of empathy, or a moment of powerful nostalgia. It can also be a reaction to something beautiful or awe-inspiring, a particularly striking chord in a song, a moving monologue in a film, or even just a perfectly articulated thought. The science behind this is elusive, but it's likely a misfire of your nervous system. Your brain, in an attempt to process an overwhelming emotional or aesthetic input, triggers an archaic physical response that was originally meant for thermoregulation. It's like your brain is so moved by a thought that it literally can't contain itself, and the excess emotional energy spills out as a physical spasm. It's a glitch that turns your body into an amplifier for your mind's most profound moments. Your nervous system is basically a theater kid, and it's throwing its whole body into the role. Number 9, exploding head syndrome. You're just about to fall asleep, and suddenly you hear it. A loud bang, a crash, a thunderous boom, like a car backfiring right outside your window, or someone dropping a stack of metal plates. You sit bolt upright in bed, heart pounding, scanning the room for the source of the noise. But there is no source. The sound was inside your head. This terrifying and utterly bizarre phenomenon is called exploding head syndrome, and yes, it's a real thing. It's a sensory hallucination that happens as you're transitioning from wakefulness to sleep. The explosion is painless, but the psychological shock can be intense. The prevailing theory is that it's a malfunction in the brainstem's gatekeeper function. As you fall asleep, the gatekeeper is supposed to slowly shut down the brain's processing of external stimuli, but in this case, it gets stuck. Instead of a gradual fade-out, the process happens all at once, in a sudden burst of neural activity. It's like all the neurons in the auditory processing part of your brain decide to throw a rave at the exact same moment. The result is a sound that's only real to you, a bizarre and jarring echo in the silent theater of your mind. Number 8, the feeling of being watched. You're walking down a quiet street at night. You're alone. The air is still, but a prickling sensation crawls up the back of your neck. You feel a presence, a set of eyes on you. You whip your head around, and of course, there's nobody there. This isn't a sign of paranoia, but a common and widely misunderstood psychological phenomenon. The technical term for it is scopophobia, which is a fear of being looked at, but the everyday feeling of being watched is something different. It's a trick of the brain, a fascinating example of how our senses can override logic. It's likely an ancient survival instinct at work. Our ancestors depended on their ability to detect predators or threats, and our brains developed a hypersensitive threat detection system. This system is so finely tuned that it can mistake subtle changes in air pressure, the faint rustle of leaves, or even the feeling of a low-grade anxiety for an active threat. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, would rather overreact and alert you to a phantom presence than miss a real one. It's an evolutionary bug in the code, a better safe than sorry protocol that misfires in the modern world. Essentially, your brain is a low-budget horror movie director, and it's constantly trying to build suspense. Number 7, the last word on the tip of your tongue. You're in the middle of a sentence. You know the word you want. You can feel it, taste it, almost hear it, but you can't say it. It's trapped, a phantom word hovering just beyond your reach. This is the tip of the tongue, TO phenomenon, a universally frustrating cognitive hiccup. It's a little memory glitch that happens to all of us. You can often remember the first letter of the word, its number of syllables, or a word that sounds similar, but the actual word itself remains frustratingly out of reach. It's like your brain has a file cabinet full of words, but the index card for the one you need is missing. So you're just rummaging around in the dark. Neuroscientists believe it's a failure of memory retrieval, a disconnect between the meaning of a word and its sound. The brain has two separate pathways for this. One for semantics, the meaning, and one for phonology, the sound. When you experience TOT, the semantic pathway is working just fine. You know what you want to say, but the phonological pathway has stalled. It's a frustrating and completely harmless brain fart that proves your mind has a surprisingly clunky filing system. Number 6, the face pareidolia. You're driving down the highway, and you look over at a building with 2 circular windows and a square door. Suddenly, it's not a building anymore. It's a face. A surprised, slightly goofy-looking face. Or maybe you're in the bathroom, and you notice the pattern of cracks on the wall looks exactly like a grinning clown. This is face pareidolia, the psychological phenomenon of seeing faces in random objects. It's a quirk of our visual processing, and it's so common, it's a global phenomenon. The human brain is a master face detection machine, and it's been that way for a very long time. Our ancient ancestors depended on their ability to quickly recognize friend from foe, and that need is still hardwired into us. The part of the brain responsible for face recognition, the fusiform gyrus, is so eager to do its job that it sometimes jumps the gun. It will happily try to construct a face out of any pattern it sees, be it a cloud, a slice of toast, or the arrangement of outlets on a wall. It's an overactive system, a classic case of better safe than sorry, and it's a testament to how crucial face recognition is to our survival. It basically proves your brain is a conspiracy theorist, convinced there are faces everywhere, watching you. Number 5, the sudden word salad. You're talking to a friend, the conversation is flowing, and for a split second, a random, nonsensical word pops out of your mouth. It's a word that has no business being there, a strange linguistic interloper that makes no sense in context. Or maybe you're writing an email, and your fingers type out a word that is completely wrong. A classic word salad. This isn't a sign of anything serious, just a normal everyday cognitive slip. The brain, in its constant task of translating thought into language, occasionally makes a wiring error. The 2 primary languages of the brain are meaning and syntax, and sometimes they get scrambled. This can be caused by simple fatigue, a slight distraction, or just the sheer speed at which we process and articulate thoughts. It's a verbal typo, a fleeting moment where your brain's autocomplete function goes haywire. It's a completely normal glitch, a linguistic hiccup that shows that even the most finely tuned machine can spit out a little bit of garbage every now and then. Your brain is a fast food drive-through with a perpetually broken intercom. Number 4, the unexplained musical loop. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, and a song pops into your head. Not a whole song, just a small, infuriatingly catchy part of a song. A chorus, a bridge, a single, looping refrain that repeats itself over and over and over again, like a broken record player in the back of your brain. It's an earworm, a musical itch that you just can't scratch. The scientific term is involuntary musical imagery, IMI, and while the name is not as fun, the feeling is all too real. The leading theory suggests that earworms are a product of the brain's cognitive itch. When the brain is given an incomplete pattern, like a snippet of a song, it has a strong compulsion to finish it. Since the brain can't actually complete the song because you're not listening to it, it gets stuck in an endless loop, repeating the fragment over and over. It's a form of obsessive rumination, a neurological feedback loop. It's like your brain is trying to solve a puzzle with a missing piece, and it just keeps turning the same three pieces over and over again, hoping they'll somehow fit together. The worst part is that the more you try to get rid of it, the more it sticks around. Your brain is a petty DJ, and it's decided to play the same 2 seconds of a song until you finally give in and hum along. Number 3, the Capgras delusion. You look at your spouse, your child, or a close friend, and a chilling thought enters your mind. This is not them. This person looks and acts exactly like them, but they are an imposter, a duplicate. This isn't just a fleeting thought, but a firm, unshakable belief. This is Capgras delusion, a rare and deeply unsettling psychiatric condition that causes a person to believe a loved one has been replaced by an identical imposter. It's not a hallucination. The person can clearly see the physical resemblance, but a failure of emotional recognition. The theory behind it is a disconnect in the brain. The visual part of the brain is working just fine, but the connection to the emotional part of the brain, the amygdala, is broken. So you see a face you recognize, but there's no emotional response, no warm feeling of connection. The brain, in a desperate attempt to make sense of this profound mismatch, comes up with a bizarre explanation. It must be a doppelganger. It's an extreme example of the brain creating its own reality to fill in a blank. It's like your brain has decided to star in a low-budget sci-fi thriller where everyone you know is a pod person. Number 2, the synesthesia sneak attack. You're listening to a symphony, and as the notes soar and swell, you see colors. A sharp trumpet blast is a flash of bright red, while a soft cello melody is a deep pop velvety blue. Or maybe you're reading a book, and every time you see a number, it has a distinct personality. The number 7 feels like a cranky old man, while the number 4 is a shy little girl. This is synesthesia, a bizarre neurological phenomenon where the stimulation of one sensory or cognitive pathway leads to involuntary experiences in a second sensory or cognitive pathway. It's a cross-wiring of the senses, a delightful brain glitch that blurs the lines between what you see, hear, taste, and touch. The exact cause is still a mystery, but one theory suggests that people with synesthesia simply have more neural connections between different parts of the brain that aren't normally linked. It's like having a sensory superhighway where the on-ramps and off-ramps were built in all the wrong places. The result is a richer, more vivid, and utterly strange experience of the world. It's a testament to the fact that your brain is just a tangled mess of wires, and sometimes a little bit of electricity leaks from one wire to another. Number 1, the Mandela effect. You have a crystal clear memory of a major historical event or popular culture fact. You remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. You remember the cartoon Berenstain Bears being spelled with an E. You recall a specific scene from a movie that you know, with absolute certainty, happened a certain way. But then you do a search, and the historical records, the book titles, and the movie clips all tell a different story. Nelson Mandela died in 2013. The books are spelled Berenstain Bears, and that famous line from a movie was never actually said. This is the Mandela effect, a shared false memory. It's not just one person misremembering something. It's an entire group of people sharing the same incorrect memory. The science behind it is a glorious mess. Some speculate it's a form of confabulation, where our brains fill in the blanks with what seems logical. And because we're all exposed to similar information, we fill in the blanks in the same way. Others think it's a simple product of suggestion and confirmation bias, where one person's misremembered fact spreads like wildfire on the internet. But the most intriguing theory, the one that's far too fun to ignore, is that it's evidence of parallel universes, a small ripple of a different timeline bleeding into our own. It's an unsolved mystery, a bug in the collective human consciousness that proves our memories are far more malleable and prone to glitches than we'd like to believe.